What's up? It's Trey Harris here, wide receiver for Los Angeles Chargers, and you're tuning in to Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in to the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein. Let's address this just real quick. We know that this week has been, let's call it like the stock market. You got some highs, you got some lows. We were all joyous and celebratory from the news of Keenan Allen this week. We had a toast to him. And like many things that usually happens with the Chargers, you only get 5 minutes of glory before you get some just really terrible news that follows it, because we all know what happened just under 24 hours later after that. The unfortunate news about Rashawn Slater being lost for the year. But Jim Harbaugh had some interesting comments in his press conference today. A lot of encouraging things that he said just in relation to how the team is going to respond. Well, Chargers Unleashed is going to respond in a certain way today. So we're going to take those negative feelings that we were feeling just 24 hours ago. We're going to do our best to pick them back up, because Dan Wolkenstein, I have not said this sentence in a long time, has been working the phones. And when Dan Wolkenstein works the phones, great things tend to happen as we gear up for the Chargers' second preseason game going up against the New Orleans Saints. Dan Wolkenstein, tell the great people out there who is joining Chargers Unleashed today.
Well, like the laws of gravity, what goes up will also come down. But like a ball, it will then bounce back up. And we are up today because we have number 55 overall, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, now your Los Angeles Charger, Trey Harris, joining us in Chargers Unleashed to talk about his life in the NFL, talk about what he has done so far at training camp, his expectations, playing with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and much, much more. Jake, before we get to that very important question, how are you?
It's an impressive track record, Wolkenstein, that you have put together since your flub many months ago. I don't think you've missed once. Even if it's like an hour into the podcast, you'll still like, I'll circle back around.
Like Lad McConkey, I learned from my mistakes.
Yes, just to make sure I'm going to get that in before the end of the show. Oh, well done, dude. About as good as we can be. Fan base is trying to do everything that they can right now to pick their spirits up off the ground after just being obliterated and crushed yesterday, and rightfully so, just given the news of Rashawn Slater. We got to try to figure out a way forward. It's about a month before the regular season kicks off. If there is going to be any adjustments to that offensive line, you got to do it now, and you got to try to figure it out. As we heard some comments from Jim Harbaugh today, they are going to bring in some offensive linemen here in the next couple of days. I believe he said Saturday is when he's going to be trying some guys out, see what ultimately comes of that, whether it's swing tackles or any other specific offensive linemen, free agents or not. They're going to try to figure out what they can do to reinforce that offensive line depth moving forward. But I'm excited today, Dan. Trey Harris coming on board. You know how excited I was when the Chargers ended up taking him 55th overall. Loved what he did at Ole Miss. Excited what he's been doing thus far during training camp. I think he's going to have a very, very big impact on Justin Herbert in this offense overall. Excited to talk to him.
Fresh off of training camp, Trey Harris will join us next on Chargers Unleashed. Well, fresh off another day at training camp, we are pleased to be joined by the 55th overall selection of the Chargers 2025 NFL Draft. The Chargers wide receiver, number 9, Mr. Trey Harris, joins us on Chargers Unleashed. Trey, welcome to Chargers Unleashed. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank y'all for having me first and foremost. And I'm doing real good. Just got off the field and had a good day of practice and ready to keep going.
Quite literally fresh off the field, still wearing the powder blue practice jerseys. How was today? What were kind of your key takeaways? Like, what was the offseason been like for you so far as a whole?
So for me, the biggest thing I've been working on, especially going from that transition period of going into rookie mini camp to OTAs and then now in the training camp, was just playing fast and, playing with speed within all my routes. And that's something I've been working on. That's something that's been helping me, especially these past couple of days, just getting open, always being in the right spot, for Justin. And it also allows me to make my decisions a lot quicker. So it allows me to, go into each play with the game plan set and, I just go out there and execute it.
For folks who are not there at camp today, if there were 3 takeaways, not necessarily you, but just in general, What were the top takeaways from Trey Harris?
For me, being decisive, so not letting the defense determine what I do. 2, I say just playing physical in the run game, and then 3, just making sure I'm in the right place at the right time. Those 3 are my big takeaways.
Trey, this wide receiver group has added a lot of pieces over the last 2 years. In a short period of time, they've gotten deeper, they've gotten younger. I'd actually like to hear what it's been like learning under Coach Sanjay Lal. What's been the biggest message from him that he has preached since you've gotten in there at camp?
One thing that initially stood out to me, and he literally told us before we even with the rest of the guys, and it was just the rookies. It was just me, Delvon Campbell, Luke Grimm, and KeAndre. He literally told us, whenever you're out there, it's going to be a lot of moving parts, a lot of smoke, to be completely honest with you. But if you play fast and you just run right through it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be correct and you're going to be wide open. So that's probably the biggest things I've taken from him. And each and every day he pushes us to be better than we were the day before. That's his big thing, is always getting better each and every day, getting something you focus on for that day, making sure you try to get better at it. And, just taking all the little details. One thing he also says is, the little details are what matter, but if they matter, they aren't little. So that's one thing he's always preaching to us. So just make sure you take everything in and make sure you just, stay on top of everything. That's the biggest thing for sure.
Coach Law and Trey Harris giving us life lessons here. We're not even 5 minutes into the interview. This is incredible. Trey, I'm sure you've heard this, but I think Chargers fans, and probably those in the building too, have understood the assignment this past year and this past offseason, where they got to try to get some weapons for Justin, right? And you kind of saw what the Ladd McConkey show looked like last year. And again, playoff appearance, Ladd was breaking records. It was incredible. But fast forward to this year, Justin Herbert has a ton of toys, right? You got Conklin and Gadsden at tight end, yourself, KLS, now Keenan at wide receiver to go with Ladd. You got Najee, Omarion, Rocket, and Naheem at running back. Like, it feels just like a night and day difference than a year prior. Like, what do you foresee Chargers fans should expect this new look offense to kind of look like by the time week 1 in Brazil comes?
One thing for sure is us just being very physical and playing fast. That's a big thing. And then another thing is us being in super, super, super conditioned shape. Coach Harbaugh, he constantly preaches us being the best in shape team in the NFL, and that's something we all take. We take that to heart, to be honest with you. We all go out there and we bust our tails each and every practice. That's with us, practicing, and even after practice, we're going out, we're working out, and we still going hard. That's our finisher. So that's something you definitely gonna see from our entire team, is that we're gonna play physical, we're gonna play fast, and you gonna see how conditioned we are each and every game.
Trey, you were at the podium last Saturday at the Bowl talking about Justin Herbert and just the first impressions that he's made on you since you've been with the team. And it seems, since you've set foot on the field, that the chemistry between the two of you has really come on fast. What has it been like with working with him on the field and building that chemistry over the last few months, whether we go all the way back to, April when you were first drafted, coming through OTAs, and now obviously progressing to just a month away from the regular season? But how has that rapport steadily built up over the last couple months?
So the way I really look at it is I kind of put myself in his shoes, to be honest with you. He's been a guy who's established in the league. He's been doing it for a long time. And he's done it with weapons or without weapons, to be completely honest with you. So for me, my biggest thing is just going out there and making sure I'm in the right spot. He's preached to other guys, saying that, like, me, KeAndre, and other guys, we out there, we know our plays. And that was one of the big things, me and KeAndre, because we're roommates, we both were like, hey, we'll go out there, we're going to make sure we're in the right spot no matter what, because we know we got a guy who can get us the ball no matter where we are in the field. So that's the biggest thing we've been talking about for sure.
Now, this team has sorely missed outside production, right? We've heard everybody talk about the X receiver position, but he plays Z. But that explosive kind of presence downfield, the big body, contested catcher, the one-on-one winner, like, that's basically Trey Harris to a T. Who are some of the receivers that you try to kind of mirror your game off of, and maybe what are some of your personal goals for this year as a rookie in the NFL?
It's crazy you say who I mirror myself in. One of the guys is in our room now, Keenan. Just the way he one thing I feel like a lot of people kind of underrate his game is just the amount of catches he makes in tough contested situations. He's an excellent route runner, but whenever it comes time to a clutch moment or a big play needs to be made, he's there. And it's not just him. I also look at guys like AJ Brown, and also look at T Higgins. You know, those two guys, I kind of look at just how physical and how they use their size and they use their dominant ability just to, you know, outwill the defender, to be honest with you. And as of goals for the season, you know, I just want to be able to go out there and produce. You know, I want to go be out there, produce, help guys get open, and also get myself open. And you know, I just want to win. You know, that's my biggest goal, is being able to win. Because I'll give a quick little shout out to Ole Miss. You know, I got real used to winning over there. You know, had 2 double-digit win seasons there, and that's something I want to continue on in my career, because whenever you're winning, everything's good. So,
well, yeah, and your production year last year, you had like what, 8 games, yet you still topped over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. I'm like, this guy is the number 1 receiver in college until yeah. Jeez.
Trey, I know you and KLS have a really close bond, obviously being drafted together. You mentioned obviously that you guys are roommates. I'm interested to know, like, here's an opportunity for you to shout out some of your teammates, because who are maybe a few of your teammates not in the wide receiver room that have maybe made the biggest impression on you, and who are maybe a few teammates that have surprised you with what you've seen from them out in the field?
Oh, surprised me? I wouldn't say he's a guy that surprised. I mean, everybody knows him as DJ. Just the amount of Derwin James, his energy to the game is it's infectious, to be honest with you, because everything he does, it makes you just want to go out there and get better. But not only him, but Tierra Tart, that's a guy who I kind of got really close with. You know, he's a vet in the room and in the D-line room, and you know, he goes out every single day trying to give his best foot forward, and he goes out there and he pretty much tells you that, hey, I'm a big man, and I'm gonna make sure you know that I'm a big man. Another guy I also give praise to is Omarion. You know, me and him are locker mates, so we literally sit right next to each other, and we both go out there and we both just try to give our best foot forward. And you know, at first, the offense comes in fast. You know, to be honest, there's a whole lot of offense you gotta learn. And I can remember we both just sitting there with our iPads, just looking at the players, looking at each other, just making sure we know what we got. But now it's starting to, you know, slow down a little bit, and we both starting to get used to it. And he's starting to make plays. And then another guy I got to give a shout out to is Orande OG, you know, Orande Gadsden. You know, I actually was training with him pre-combine, and I knew, like, ain't no tight end moving like this guy, because he's 6'4", 6'5", 250, moving like a receiver. And me and him been training for a long time now. We've been out here for a long time. So to be able to see him in action, be able to, you know, put it on the field has been great. So those guys for sure, though.
I love it. And you mentioned Keenan Allen earlier. He signs back with a team, fan favorite. Everyone loves the Slayer. Chargers fans went ballistic this week when it all happened. Now he's out there at practice and in the film room with you, and that was one of the guys that you modeled your game after. And then obviously Ladd's there too. But focusing on Keenan for a second, like, how do you see his addition affecting the wide receiver room specifically, and then maybe kind of snap out to the offense as a whole, and then to you personally?
So for the receiver room, I think just having a guy like that who's been proven year after year, and then also a guy who, this is his home. You know, we understand that. But one thing, he came in already, and he's not scared to tell us the knowledge that he has. That's something that I really appreciate. He's going to tell us every single situation he's been in, and that's something that you can always appreciate from a vet. As a team-wise, you know, it's going to be great to have him, because he's going to make those big plays that everybody's used to him making. And, you know, that doesn't just make him fired up or the quarterback. That makes everybody fired up. That gets the entire team going. That makes – one thing I've noticed about our receiver room already is that we feed off each other's energy. So one guy is having a big day, we're gonna notice it, and everybody's gonna start to pick their game up. So just having him on the field is gonna be huge. And then me personally having him, I'm always gonna be able to try to pick his brain, especially with certain routes that we both run. That I want to see what he's thinking in this situation. And even just watching him, I'm gonna be able to, all right, I could pick that up from him. I see him do this release, I could pick that up, or I see him do this certain something at the top of the route, I'll pick that up from him. So and just being able to talk to him, it's gonna be great. So I'm super excited for the season. I'm super excited to have him.
A peek behind the curtain question. What was the last thing that you learned from Keenan, like specifically?
I mean, literally today, I kind of ran like an in cutter, and literally we're talking about, because there's the options on the route and things like that, and we were talking about just the options and, you know, just how to freestyle and things like that. We're just talking about different ways you could freestyle it, and me and him were just bouncing ideas off of each other. So just having that kind of conversation with him is huge, because to be honest, that's not something I ever thought I'd be able to say that I could have. But talking with Keenan, you know, about this route right then and there.
Crazy.
But being able to do that is great because now I understand what he's thinking, and you know, with his connection with Justin, it's gonna help me also build my connection with Justin as well.
Trey, you got your first NFL game under your belt. Next one coming up for this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. Talk to us about that first game day experience, Hall of Fame game in Canton, pre-game, walking out of the tunnel. What were some of your biggest takeaways from that game? And then what are you hoping for yourself to, you know, maybe improve on here over the next 3 weeks?
I definitely just want to improve on, you know, just going out there and playing my game. You know, it kind of felt surreal, to be honest with you, because, you know, you've been looking up to this moment for your entire football career, and finally you're there. And then also being able to be out there in Canton, you know, being able to see all the greats, you know, all the Hall of Fame busts. You kind of,
Crazy.
yeah, it honestly is. Because one thing me and KeAndre was talking about, like, yeah, we made it to the NFL, but, like, you still gotta make it in the NFL. Like, you made it to it, but you got to make your own name there. And being able to go out there and see all the guys who've done that, you know, they've walked the same steps I've walked in, and, you know, they've done 10 times more. It all just gives you a goal to pursue in my mind. And just going out the next Sunday, you know, I kind of just want to go out there, you know, play fast, play physical, and just go out there and make a mark on the game.
Just absolutely moss somebody, eat Doritos off the helmet. Like that's what you're wanting, right?
Yeah.
No, but you're right though. Like it's funny, you've made it, right? This is a big career goal, but also this is just the beginning for you and for everyone for their career. And it's actually a model I kind of use too. And Jake and I have talked about this. We're like, it's only just the beginning. No matter where you've gotten to, it's just the beginning. And to see and hear kind of you emulate that and to talk about that with KeAndre is pretty remarkable. All right, last one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone sees you with the helmet on, right? Everyone sees you in pads, but I think folks would love to know, like, who is Trey Harris off the field? Like, what are some of your hobbies? Like, how do you decompress? Like, that kind of stuff. Like for example, you got paid, right? You got your contract signed. What was the first thing you purchased after you signed your contract? Not doesn't have to be big. Could be Chipotle. Could be Taco Bell. Like, what was the first thing you purchased when you signed that contract?
I don't really think about it now that you asked me that. Oh, I know. It was I was in the midst of getting my apartment together, so I think I actually bought a couch. I bought a couch for one of my rooms. So
nice.
That's probably the first thing I bought. But outside of that, you know, I'm really a chill guy. You know, I like to be on the video game, to be honest. You know, I like to stay home. I'm really a homebody type of guy. And one thing I have picked up on is going to farmers markets. That's something I never really done, but being out here, that's kind of something I'm enjoying, to be honest with you.
All right. Now, do you want people to know which farmers market you're going to, or should we just keep that on the DL?
Let's keep that on.
Okay. Deal. Trey, this has been fun, man. We appreciate you coming on. Best of luck this coming weekend, I should say, against the Saints. Anything else you want to tell the great fans of the Chargers before we get you out of here?
No, I ain't got nothing, but I just want to say thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for welcoming me in like family, and can't wait for the season, getting ready to start, and just expect a lot of me out of this Sunday, to be honest with you. I'm ready to go out there and prove something.
Ooh, he's calling a shot. I love it. Trey Harris from your Los Angeles Chargers. Trey, thank you so much, man. Best of luck this season. Looking forward to seeing you ball out the rest of the way.
Thank y'all for having me.
Of course.
Thank you, Trey.